Hello and welcome back to day one of the Trade Decorator Festival. This is our last session for you today, but we've got more coming up for you tomorrow and right through until the 11th of March. So what's today's session? Well, I'm going to be joined by Repair Care. I've got Nicola Simmons and Ian Mossop joining me for a live Q&A where you can put your questions to them about timber repair. Prior to that, we have got a training session. We're going to be joining Repair Care for a tutorial, which will be an in-depth demonstration of their Dryflex resin range in comparison to generic polyester 2-pack filler products. The demonstration will include a full demo of their Dryflex 16 resin, which is for larger repairs, as well as an example of their Dryflex Super Finish for smaller spot repairs. So the things that the session will cover will be dosing and mixing of a 2-pack filler and Repair Care Dryflex SF and Dryflex 16, shaping and finishing of small and bigger repairs with Repair Care Dryflex and 2-pack flexibility and brittleness, and sanding the products. Now, a number of you are watching over on Facebook. It's not too late to get involved. You can click on the link in the post and come and join us for the live Q&A element, or join us now for this element of the show. You will also get an opportunity to take part in our competition, which will be launched a little later in the session. And the prizes for that competition, we have a free training session with Repair Care and a bundle of metal knives and a metal dispensing gun. So we're going to take a look now at that tutorial, and I will see you back here after that for the Q&A.
Hi, my name is Gary Simmons from Repair Care International. Today we're going to have a look at the differences between 2-pack polyester fillers and our epoxy resins. Mainly we'll be looking at elasticity, slump resistance and sandability. So to start with, we're going to have a look at this little demo box. It's already had the rotten timber taken away and it's been primed with a wood hardener. So now we're going to use a generic 2-pack filler where we've got a golf ball size of the filler and a pea size of the catalyst or hardener. So we're just going to bring these two together now. Some people would mix this up on a mixing board. Some people would use an onion board, but for today we're just going to mix it up on this little bit of cardboard that we've got. Just making sure that the catalyst and the filler come together. We have to work quite quickly with 2-pack filler because we've only got an open time of a few minutes with it. Especially on a warm day like today, we have to make sure that we work quite quickly. So I'm happy that the filler and the catalyst have been brought together now. So I'm just going to fill this damaged little bit of timber that we've got. Take a little bit of the filler, put it into this area that we've got here, turn it around, making sure there are gaps in there. So when working with 2-pack fillers, because you're expecting it to shrink and to slump slightly, we do need to make sure that we overfill with this, just so we've got something to sand down afterwards. So once we've started to model this, we're going to have to leave it a little bit proud, just to give ourselves something to sand down. So now I'm happy that is filled. We'll leave that to cure and then we'll come back to it in a few minutes' time and sand it down. So now we're going to do exactly the same repair, but this time using Dryflex 16. You can use this product from 10 to 35 degrees, and you can go up to 50 millimeters deep with it in one hit. So for larger repairs or complex repairs, this product is ideal. You've also got hour and a half to 2 hours on the mixing plate, so we've got loads of time. Unlike the 2-pack that's going to go off in a few minutes, this product we've got hour and a half to 2 hours. It's also, there's no guessing with it, with the pea size of this and the golf ball size of the filler. With our dosing gun, we get exactly the right amount of product out each time. Okay, I'm just going to dispense a little bit of the product, take the pressure off the dosing gun, and we can come back to that in a few minutes' time. So all we want to do now is bring the two products together. This is done with a folding technique. We're not trying to stir the product together, it's a simple folding technique. And because of our colour control, there's the A part of it is green and the B part of it is white. We know once we've got a controlled mix that the product is ready to go. Another little tip with all of our epoxy resins, if you leave them flat on the mixing plate, you get the extra amount of working time with it. The resins cure in two ways. One of them is to do with the external temperature and the other part is mass. So the more of the resin you've got together, the quicker it's going to go off. So by leaving it flat on the mixing plate, we get the maximum amount of working time with it. So I'm just going to check on this knife, make sure that there's no green flecks, which there isn't. So I'm happy that we can start to fill with this now. So I'm going to take our little block. We start with a buttering technique. So this is applying a small amount of resin into the repair, just making sure that there's good contact between the dry fix that we applied earlier and the dry flex. Once we've got a good contact of that, we can start to build our repair up. Just applying a little bit of the resin each time. Flick the block round. Just making sure that we're pushing the resin into the repair. At this point, we could take a little bit of Perspex and push that against the block, because the resins will stick to anything apart from plastic. Let the repair cure, and this little bit of Perspex will pop off and give us a really nice clean finish. Applying pressure into the repair, not out of the repair, because that will drag the products out, so it's always into the repair. And we're not bending the knife in half, it's a nice, simple sweeping technique. So we draw the knife down, take this little bit of excess off our knife, and we take the same thing, and all we're going to do is draw the knife down. Just tidy that up very slightly, but we don't want to keep messing with this. So once we've done that, if I just put my knife across here, you can see it leaves a small line in the resin. Now if I was to put my knife down here, you can just see there's a minimal amount of sanding to be done. So we let this product cure, come back, give it a real light sanding just to give it a key for the paint or the stain, and we're ready to go. So once we've finished our little repair, I said this will stay there happily for an hour and a half to 2 hours, but cleaning up with repair care is also very, very simple. We're just going to take our little bit of product which we could use elsewhere, take one of our Easy Q wipes, wrap the excess product into there, give our knife and wipe down, same for this one. And finally, the board. And then we're ready to go for the next repair that we're going to do. So now the 2-pack has cured or has gone hard, we're going to sand it back down. So at this time we're using our Festool RO90 and a dustless extractor. So I'm just going to stick my mask on. So you can just see here, there's one or two little low edges in here in particular. This edge isn't particularly sharp, and the same with this, so we're going to need to put a small amount of a second fill on there just to sharpen that up. So now we're going to do exactly the same, but this time sanding our Dry Flex 16. So now sanded with Dry Flex 16, you can see we've got a lovely sharp edge, no little dimples. Now that's ready to take a paint or a stain. So we're going to mix a little bit more 2-pack up just to address these few small areas that we've got there, and then we're going to have a look at spot filling some of these areas, which is traditionally what you'd use 2-pack for. So we're just going to mix these two bits together. On top of the little demo block, we won't need much of this at all. But as I said, it's quite warm today, so we're going to have to walk really quite quickly. So we're happy with that, that's mixed. Put a little bit into the top there, into this corner. Take out some of the excess and then try and sharpen these edges up just a little bit. And when we come back to sand that down, that should be nice and sharp. So have a look at these little spot repairs. It's kind of best practice. We're going to try and make sure that they're filled at the bottom to start with. Take a little bit more product and push it into the corner, making sure that there's no air gaps. And then some of these bigger holes as well. Making sure it's pushed into the corners. And then we can start to try and fill them properly. When using the 2-pack, it does tend to drag out of the back of the hole. So best practice with any filler really is to take it half and half. So in these round ones, we're going to take it half out of there and half out of that one. Same with this one here, half out of that side. Half out of that side, and the longer, thinner repair that we've got here. And we'll leave it slightly proud because we're expecting it to shrink back. And then these three little spot repairs, we're going to leave those nice and flat. And then we'll come back in half an hour and see what that sands down like. So again, we're going to use the Dry Flex SF, which is our super finish. Cures in half an hour, and you can go up to 6mm deep with it. Again, we're going to do this little demo block. Again, with our 2-in-1 cartridge, all the guesswork has been taken out of this because you get both components in the same gun. So there's no guesswork with it, so we're just going to dose out a little bit of our product. Take any excess out of the nozzle so we can refit the nozzle without gluing it back in there. Making sure we put the cap back on the right way around. So, although it's in a 2-in-1 cartridge, you do still need to mix this because it's a fast curing product, we've got shortened working time and it's a lot better than the 2-pack filler. Again, we've got the colour control, so we're making sure that both the A and B components are fully mixed. And then when we've got one clean colour with no streaks or stripes in there, we can start to build the repair up. We use the same techniques that we do with our resins. So we first of all use a buttering in technique. So we're going to take a little bit of the resin each time and just push it into the repair, just building it up a little bit of it at a time. Again, just making sure that there's no air gaps in there. Start to fill the larger holes up. So as I said earlier on, this will be fully cured in half an hour. It's perfect for small spot repairs like this. This can also be used straight onto the top of our resin. If you come back and the resin's not perfect or somebody's put a finger into it, you can use this on top of our resins. The technique for using the SF is slightly different. We use the knife flat, put a little bit of pressure in there and bring it back. We call this our proud modelling technique, so the resin sits very, very slightly proud. And best practice again with any larger repairs is take it from the centre of the repair that you're going to do and pull the product outwards. Same that side. By doing that, it's not dragging out the back of the hole. A little bit more there. So from the middle that side, from the middle this side, and from the middle that side. And you can see how quick and easy it is. That's going to take a very small amount of sanding and we'll get a perfect finish from that. So now we're going to sand down the little test samples that we've done. First off was with the 2-pack polyester filler, and then we're going to sand down the sample that we did with our Triflex SF. So we'll start off with the 2-pack. So that's the 2-pack sanded down. There are a couple of low spots in this larger round hole here, and then this longer one here. It's just tiny pulled away from this hole here. So again, we're going to have to put a little bit more of the 2-pack on just to get that nice and flat, and then we can come back and sand it down again in a minute. So we'll swap that over now, and we'll do the SF, which is the repair care product. Because we can model this a lot closer, there's very little sanding for us to do with this one. Let's pop the sander on and get this one sorted. You can see with the SF, it's sanded down much flatter. It's giving us a really nice surface. Once we pop a coat of paint onto that, you won't be able to see there's a repair underneath it. So this time around, we're going to use the 2-pack filler again, but this time doing a much larger repair. All of the decayed rotten timber has been taken out of the corner, and again, it's been primed with a wood hardener. Same ratio, it's a golf ball to a pea, slightly larger repair, so we need to mix a little bit more of this time. And again, we'll have to work quite quickly because the more mass, the 2-pack's going to go off a little bit quicker. This time we're mixing it up on one of our mixing boards, but again, normally people would use a piece of cardboard or an onion board. Sometimes they mix it up on a mixing plate, but we'll show you afterwards it can be quite difficult to clean down. So once we're happy that this is mixed up, all the hardener and the filler have been brought together, we're just going to start to apply that into our repair now. So just try and make sure that there's good level of contact. Try and make sure that there's not any air pockets. Building it up slowly, but we do have to work quite quickly with this. Just trying to make sure that we get a decent amount of product in there. Because this is a larger repair, we are going to have to build the 2-pack up in 2 or even maybe 3 stages before we get a really nice finish. Just pushing it into the corners just to make sure there aren't any air gaps. Bit out of the corner. We've left it proud because as I said, we're expecting it to slump back slightly. Try and take some of the excess away because we don't want to be doing lots of sanding afterwards. And we'll leave that to cure and come back and give it a sand down in a few minutes' time. Right, next we're going to be using the Dryflex 16 again, but this time to do the larger repair into the corner. This is a typical repair that we see that happens between the junction between the sill and the stile. The joint opens up, moisture gets in, and that's where you have a weak point. So we've taken out all the rock, we've checked our moisture is below 18%. We've got nice deep shoulders for the resin to sit into. With all of our epoxy products, we want a minimum depth of 5 mil. So you can check that quite easily with a knife. You can see there that there's minimum depths of 5 mil. So just put that to one side for just a second. Dose our gun again. Because of our dosing gun, we make sure that we've got exactly the right amount of product. Just put that to one side. And we're just going to, again, as before, just bring these 2 products together. We're not stirring it, we're almost pushing the 2 products together. By using this technique, you also ensure that you don't get any air gaps. With the Dryflex 16, as I said previously, you get somewhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours on this mixing plate. You can go up to 50 millimeters deep with it, and you can use it from temperatures from 10 to 35 degrees. Other resins in our range, we have a 1 hour cure, we have a 4 hour cure, we have a resin that's specially designed for curing at lower temperatures. We have a fine surface filler that can go up to 6 millimeters deep, but will cure in half an hour. And we also have a putty product. So we just carry on folding the 2 products together until we have a streak-free mix. So there's no obvious signs of the green component and no obvious signs of the white components as well. And once we've done that, we just check on our knife just to make sure that there's no products that are unbound. Again, leaving it flat on the mixing plate like this. Make sure that we've got exactly the amount of product that we need. So once we're happy that that's mixed properly, we next go with our buttering in technique, and that's making sure that we make good contact with the fix that has already been applied to this. The dry fix you apply to the product, let that soak in for a minimum of 20 minutes, but then with dry fix uni, you've got 24 hours to use the product. So just gently start to build this up, pressing it into the corners just to make sure that there's no air gaps in there. And if we push it in from that side, like one side, it's naturally going to squeeze out to the front. Exactly the same with this. Using this technique, as I said, we're making sure that there's no air gaps in there. At this point, we're not trying to shape it in particular, we're just making sure that there's enough of the product in there. I'm happy that there's enough of our resin in there to fill the hole, and now we can go on with shaping the resin. So now we come to shaping the resin. A tip for when you're shaping the resin is almost to forget about what the resin is doing. Always use the timber as your template. So if I follow the lead of the timber across here, I know that the resin is going to be a perfect finish. Normally up against here we'd have a brick wall, so we put some Repair Care Easy Cube brick tape against that just to protect that surface. So again, we're not using a heavy technique with this, it's just using the knife at 90 degrees with pressure into the repair. When we get to there, we're just going to tilt it slightly and bring it out. Next, we're going to do the back of the repair, which will be up against the wall. So we're going to take that little part out, clean the knife. Next, we're going to sort out the rebate. So all I'm going to do is follow the lead of the timber. I'm going to come down here. As soon as I hit the rebate, I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on, but then take all of the pressure off and tilt the knife away from the repair. The next part, we're going to follow the sill. So again, not finishing the repair as it is at the moment, we're just taking out some of the excess. So again, using the timber as my template, as my lead, and I'm just going to come across this way, tilt the knife out, and take out that other little bit of excess. Now we're going to go slightly further with this, so I'm going to come past the stile, because the stile has got a bull nose in there, and then just follow the bull nose of the stile around, back into the rebate, again a little bit of pressure, and slide the knife past the rebate. As soon as you've cleared the rebate, back into the corner, tilt the knife to take out any of the excess. And finally, we're going to put the bull nose back in to the front of the sill, take that off, just by following that lead round. Take any little bits of... So we just followed the lead of the bull nose round. That's now finished. Little light sand down to give it a key for the paint or the stain that we're going to put onto it. So the big corner repair is now fully cured, nice and hard. It's quite rough, so we're going to take it back, and then I'm going to swap over to the Delta just to change to get into the corners and try and straighten this rebate a little bit. And a lot of the sanding has been done now. As you can see in here, this corner isn't particularly sharp. There's a little low part here where it's chipped out slightly, and this corner needs addressing as well. So we are going to need to put a little bit more 2-pack into this to get it looking a bit smarter. So now we've finished sanding the 2-part polyester filler down. We can see there's some low spots in here. There's a little part in there, and the front of this needs some sharpening up. So I've mixed up a little bit more of the 2-pack. and we're just going to rebuild this. Fill that little gap in there, this part into here. Again, we're going to have to leave it a little bit proud just to give us something to sand out. Now we've got the main body of the repair sorted, to be a little bit more accurate with it. I'm just trying to sharpen this edge up here as well. I think we're almost there. Tiny little bit more in the corner there. And we'll let that cure for a few minutes, come back and sand it down and see what the finish looks like. Right, so now the corner repair with the 2-pack is cured, so we're just going to sand that down now just to see what kind of finish that we've got. So that's given us a reasonable finish, but the corner in here has still got a couple of little dinks in there that need some attention. So unfortunately, we're going to have to mix a little bit more of the 2-pack up just to put into these little corners in here. So we're back onto the corner section again. We've applied another layer of the 2-pack polyester filler, but when we've sanded it down, we've seen there's a couple of little small holes, and if you apply a paint finish to that, it's going to stand out really quite badly. So unfortunately, we're having to apply a 3rd coat of the 2-pack to this now. So I've mixed a little bit of the 2-pack up, and we'll just try and fill these little holes. It's not going to take much, just into the corners, and filling that little area there as well. So it's not much, but unless we do apply this, it's going to go off quite quickly. And the same with this here, just running a really small amount into that area, just to make sure it's nice and flat when we come to sand it down. This has been mixed up 2 minutes and it's already starting to go hard and drag, so you really do have to work very, very quickly with 2-pack fillers. But hopefully that will have sorted it out. Come back in a couple of minutes time, sand it down, and hopefully that's enough for to give us a paint finish. And now we come back to our 2-pack filler. It's had its 3rd and hopefully final fill, and now we're going to sand them down. Starting off with this little screw sample that we've got here. So that's nice and flat now, so that's ready for a coat of paint. We'll just do the corner repair as well. So after 3 applications of the 2-pack polyester filler, it's now cleared all the little holes and dinks out of it, so that's now ready to take a paint. So finally we've finished preparing the 2 corner sections. The one here with the 2-pack polyester filler, which has had 3 fills and has been sanded back, so this is ready for painting. And the Repair Care Flex 16, which we filled with 1 hit, has been sanded back down and is ready for painting. So I'm going to start with the 2-pack filler. That's around the front as well. once we've done this, we'll start with the Repair Care Flex 16 repair. So that's the first one done. And now onto the Repair Care. So both the 2-pack and the Repair Care appear to be taking the undercoat quite well. And we'll let that dry, then come back and put a top coat on. Right, so the primer is now dried, so we're going to apply our top coat. So once we've done this to both the 2-pack filler and also to the Repair Care product, we're going to leave it in somebody's back garden for a couple of months to see how they both fare. And now onto the and again we'll do exactly the same once the paint's dried. We'll leave it in the back garden somewhere just to see how they fare over a couple of weather cycles.
Hi, welcome back. So there you saw the tutorial for the Repair Care 2-pack filler, Repair Care resin fillers, and the compared with the 2-pack filler. I mean, it was by far a much easier process using the Repair Care resins, far less work, and it just looked superior when it was finished. So I'm now going to be joined live by Ian Mossop and Nicola Simmons from Repair Care. They're going to be joining me to take your questions in our live Q&A so that you can ask them about the Repair Care products. If you are still watching over on Facebook, it's not too late to join us because this session is now coming to an end, this demonstration element. And we are going to be launching a competition live in the show where you could actually win a free training course with Repair Care to learn all the tips and tricks how to use their products. And also we have another product prize, which is the filling knives and the metal dispensing gun as well. So do click on the link, do come and join us. And when you get here, you just need to look at the green button beneath me. Just like everybody else listening now, if you look beneath me, you'll see a green button that says Join Q&A. If you hit that button, click through to the next session, it may ask you to fill in your details. And myself and Ian and Nicola will do a quick mic check and then we will come back to you. We'll see you soon. Hi everyone, welcome back to our live Q&A with Repair Care. I'm joined now by Ian Mossop and Nicola Simmons. Hi guys, welcome to the show.
Hi.
What we're going to be doing in this element of the show is taking your questions in our live Q&A. Feel free to comment as you go along in the comments bar. If you do have a specific question, if you look beneath us on the screen, there is a tab that says ask a question. If you could hit that for me, type your questions in there, and it will just help me to keep track of the questions as we go along so I don't miss you out. If you would like to come up on the screen and talk to us directly, give me a wave in the comments bar and I'll send you an invite and we'll bring you up live. So, guys, I've got a question for you. Is special training needed to use your products?
Yes, Paula, we would recommend training gets done. The reason we ask people to do the training is we walk them through the 7 steps to a durable repair. And after they finish the training, they then can also apply for the 10-year guarantee. It just makes the whole process foolproof, if that makes sense.
Okay. And can you nail or screw directly into the resin?
When the resin's dry, you can treat it exactly like timber. You can thread it, you can screw it, nail it, drill it, it's not a problem.
Fantastic. Going back to the training, we are launching a competition a little later in this session where the guys can enter to win a repair care training session. And we've also got a set of your metal knives and metal dispensing gun as well to give away as prizes. So I'll tell you how you can do that later. What are the differences between the Dry Flex 1, 4 and 16? Because I noticed they're numbered.
So the 1 hour is really for small, quick repairs. It's called 1 hour for the exact reason it cures in 1 hour based on 20 degrees centigrade, 1 centimeter thick. The 4 hours more of an all-round product, so it goes from 0 to 35, but it's a 2-stage process. So from 0 to 10, you can go 5 to 50. Over 10 degrees, you can go 5 to 20, and it takes 4 hours to cure at 20 degrees C, 1 centimeter thick. 16 hours predominantly for big repairs, as Gary demonstrated in the video. It gives you a longer board life. You can do more intricate repairs with it. Predominantly, it's a summer product, though, so from 10 degrees to 35 degrees.
Okay. And how soon can you paint the repair? Because I know in the demonstration, we sort of speeded that process along. So what are the sort of guidelines?
So sorry, Nicola.
Are you taking that, Nicola?
Once the resin is fully cured, so like Ian said, after the 1 hour, the 4, the 16, so forth, you give it a light sand just to get rid of like the amine layer, and then you can put any kind of paint system on top of it, oil-based, water-based, or any stain. You just wait until it's fully cured.
Okay, fantastic. I've got a couple of questions coming in from the guys listening in the group. One is, hi guys, how did the 2 examples cope out in Gary's garden from the video?
Well, within 3 months, the 2-pack filler was already cracking and pulling away from the edge of the repair. The 16 hour is still going strong. We know it will go strong. Currently, we've got repairs of resin in situ still going 25 years, still going strong. So the 2-pack filler within 3 months was cracking already.
Wow, that's a massive difference, isn't it? I mean, it's not just the ease of the use of the product, but like you say, the results speak for themselves. If it lasts so much longer, then it's not only time saving, but it means that it's a job well done, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So John Fletcher is asking how often you run the training courses.
Currently, we're running a training course out of Slough every 2 weeks, and we do every 2-week course in Tamworth. So they kind of work back to back. But if there's a requirement and you need us to do special training for a big group of people, we would look at a remote training, for example, on your premises. We can accommodate you that way as well.
Okay.
We do also have some training venues up in Scotland as well, Paula. All the full details of the dates and the venues can be found on our website under the training section.
Fantastic. I was just going to ask you what's the best way for people to find out where the next courses and things are. So it's all on the website.
Yeah.
Correct.
Perfect. Do you want to tap the URL for your website into the comments bar there, so that the guys and girls that are interested in doing the courses can sort of get easy access from here after the session's finished?
Yeah, sure.
Fantastic. And what's the purpose of the dry fix uni?
Okay, so the dry fix uni, it's a primer. Once all the decayed timber has been routed out, all the wooden fibers are kind of like sticking up in the air, and the dry fix uni like kind of like binds all those fibers together, and this then creates like a larger mass area for the repair to be completed. Once applied, the dry fix is absorbed into the substrate, and this creates a permanent bond between the substrate and the dry flex repair. But it is important to note that this is not a wood hardener, and all decayed timber and all paint needs to be fully removed before applying the dry fix uni. But the dry fix uni also needs to be applied before every dry flex repair. It's not like an optional step. It needs to be completed.
Okay. And can you stain dry flex or sort of add pigment to it?
There's two processes you can use. Once you've mixed up the resin like Gary demonstrated, streak-free, you can add a small amount of oil-based pigment into that. You can pretty much match that to any shade of wood, brick color, etc. Because the resin you can use to fix any timbers, bricks, anything except plastic. Doesn't stick to plastic, as we demonstrate, well, as Gary said earlier. The other process you can use is once you've done the resin repair, you can stain it. It takes stain really well. So there's two options to go, no problem.
Okay, I've got a question from John Tetlow in the group. He says, are your products suitable for filling the underwater timbers on a wooden boat? Quite specific.
You can. You've got to be careful with any epoxy products. If an epoxy gets water from underneath, it has a tendency to delaminate. However, if you can firstly get the boat hull to dry, which is going to be quite a process because you're talking about in the water, you could put the epoxy in and then apply a really good overcoat, a 2K overcoat, which would protect the epoxy from the moisture and thereby being able to complete the repair.
Okay, thank you. And why should I use repair care instead of 2-pack filler?
Well, 2-pack filler or polyester fillers, as they're commonly known, pretty much are bulked out with chalk or glass beads. The problem with that is there's no structural integrity to them anymore. So if you're putting wood into chalk into a timber base, chalk draws moisture. So over a short period of time, the paint breaks down and you actually make the original substrate worse off than it was before. This is why we encourage people to go with the epoxy product versus the 2-pack filler.
Okay, that makes sense. I think we've come to the end of our questions, unless anybody else has got anything they want to ask. What I'm going to do now is launch our competition. So you'll see beneath me, there's a little green button that says enter competition, pretty much like the one that you used to get into this session. So when we finish, if you click on that link, and you'll go to a page on our website where you can put in your details. It's all GDPR compliant, and you can enter the competition. And as I say, our prizes, we've got great prizes, a repair care training course, and metal knife set and metal dispensing gun. And I can see Nicola's put the link there. If you want to look when the training courses are in your area, if you click on there and go over to our Repair Care's website, you'll be able to find out when the training courses are running suitable for you. I will pop a link in there now to the next sessions. In fact, all of the sessions that we're running right through to the 11th of March. So if you've not registered for those, then you've got the opportunity to do so. Thank you everyone for joining us. And thank you, Nicola, and thank you, Ian, for joining me.
Thank you.
Paula.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, bye now.